In a quiet little house lived a man, his wife, their young son, and the man's elderly mother. The grandmother was frail. Her hands trembled, her eyesight was failing, and her steps were unsteady. Every evening, the family would eat dinner together at a small wooden table. But the old woman's shaky hands and poor vision made eating difficult. Peas would roll off her spoon onto the floor, and when she'd lift a glass, milk would often spill on the tablecloth. This started to get on the nerves of the son-in-law and his wife. "We have to do something about this," the husband said one night, his voice filled with frustration. "I've had enough of the spilled milk, the noisy eating, and the food all over the floor." So the couple decided to set up a small table in the corner of the room right by the front door. There, the grandmother had to eat all by herself while the rest of the family enjoyed their dinner at the main table. What's worse, since she had broken a dish or two, they started serving her food in a cheap wooden bowl. When the family glanced over at her, sometimes they'd see a tear in her eye as she sat there alone. Still, the only words they had for her were sharp reminders when she dropped a fork or spilled some food. They'd scold her, telling her to be more careful, forgetting the years she had carefully fed them. Their little 4-year-old son watched all of this in silence. He saw how his grandmother was treated every single day. He saw her moved from the family table to the lonely corner. He saw the sadness in her eyes and heard the harsh words his parents used. He didn't say anything, but his young mind was absorbing everything, like a sponge. One evening, just before dinner, the father noticed his son on the floor, playing with some scraps of wood. He was trying to piece them together, completely focused on his task. The father smiled and asked gently, "What are you making there, son?" The little boy looked up, his expression serious and innocent, and replied, "I'm making a little bowl for you and Mama to eat your food from when I grow up." The boy's words hit the parents like a lightning strike. They stood there, completely speechless. Suddenly, tears welled up in their eyes. They didn't need to say a word to each other. They both understood what had just happened. They understood the terrible thing they had been doing and the painful lesson their own child had just taught them. That very evening, the husband went over to the corner, took his mother's hand, and gently led her back to the family table. He sat her down in a comfortable chair, and from that day on, she always ate with them. And if a little food was spilled or a fork was dropped, nobody cared anymore. They had learned a powerful lesson. This story teaches us something profound about life. Children are always watching. They are silent observers, and they learn from our actions, our words, and the way we treat others. The values we live by, the examples we set, become the foundation of their own character. If we fill our home with respect, kindness, and compassion, our children will grow up to be respectful, kind, and compassionate adults. What we normalize in our homes, our children repeat. They are a reflection of us. So let's ask ourselves, what are we teaching them? Are we teaching them to honor and cherish their elders? Are we showing them the importance of empathy and patience? The legacy we leave isn't just in the things we give them, but in the people we teach them to be. Let's make sure we're building a legacy of love. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time.